So darts. They are a ranged weapon that provides different crowd control or lots of ranged damage. They go up to a stack of 20, which means you can have 2000 damage with blow darts and 1800 with electric darts per stack. So why is it that these items are rarely crafted? I think it's really due to the limiting factor of the items that go into creating darts. As a regular character, collecting feathers and the items usually leads to using boomerangs or traps. Boomerangs for active farming and traps for more passive farming. There are other things you can do, but I will cover them later. But the reeds, man. The reeds seem to be the hardest thing for a normal person to get. Yeah, you can get the monkey tails from the Moonquay to make a reed farm at the base, but without that, the player is relegated to only using the 30 to 60 reeds that could spawn in the swamp. More if you happen to come across the reed trap set piece. For a normal player, you will have maybe an inventory full of darts if you spend all your time collecting them. So the question then is, what dart type should the player make? Definitely not the sleep dart. There's only one situation where the sleep dart is better than the pan flute, and that is when the casting animation for the flute is too slow, which in itself is pretty rare. The only instance I find the sleep dart is better is against vargs. Vargs only need one dart to sleep, and so the player can move a varg and its hounds to a safer area and have an easier time than using the pan flute. But that's only if you don't have any speed. Otherwise, if you do have speed, you can more likely get the casting of the flute off and not need to have that sleep dart. This is really the only instance that I can think of where sleep darts can be potentially better. Fire darts. They're just the worst fire staff. They're really not worth making, so it's better to not waste your reeds on this item. And now the blow dart and the electric dart, the two damage darts. These are the main ones you will see people craft. Both act pretty much the same, except that the electric darts have a chance to do more damage to an enemy when it's wet, totaling up to 150 damage. But they only do 90 on base, 10% less than a standard blow dart, and the blow dart itself doing a consistent 100 damage. Both of these darts have difficulty collecting items for them, because the feathers for the blow darts can only be gotten one season, and the feathers for the electric darts require a few extra steps. In all honesty though, you can farm both electric darts and blow darts at the same time, because you can use the morsels you get from the snowbirds and use those for gold for the electric darts. This is actually kind of perfect because to maximize canary feather farming, you kind of have to wait a bit. In order to get the most out of each canary, you need to capture the canary and put them in a bird cage in the caves, while the toadstool is still alive. This will cause the canary to get sick, and if you take the canary up to the surface and release it, it'll drop 5 to 7 feathers. This takes about a day to happen, so while you wait for your canaries to get poisoned, you can go and farm snowbirds. Most characters will have the same way of farming for darts, that being traps or boomerangs. But Walter has the benefit to use a slingshot and easy ammo with the gold rounds. But each character does have the option to use catcoons. You see, birds are not scared of catcoons, and catcoons automatically attack birds. So you can befriend and pen a bunch of catcoons in an area, put some seeds near them, and they will automatically farm birds. Keep in mind though that catcoons can fall asleep, and they'll do it whenever they want, and during that time, the birds will steal your seeds. But there is a way to solve it. Catcoons don't sleep when it's raining, and birds also spawn 5 times faster when it's raining. So if you combine rain with a feather hat, you can get it to where there is a bird spawning every second. And after just a day of relaxing near the cats, you can get yourself a few stacks of feathers and meat. It's a really great passive farm, but that in itself really doesn't beat what Wicker can do. Wicker probably has the easiest way to farm for darts. Not only can Wicker regrow reeds at a much faster rate, she has the ability to summon birds all around using her books. In fact, you can even use what I consider the worst item in the game, the seed shell, for collecting birds. Is it better than Sleepy Time Stories? Maybe not, but it's certainly a fun way to use it. It can be a good way to collect canaries for the electric darts. All that farming is great for Wicker, but it's kinda sad that it's not really viable to make darts as any other characters. Heck, even just like a small buff for DST where instead of costing 2 reeds for 1 dart, you can get 2 darts for 2 reeds, giving a 1-to-1 ratio. It would make it a much more accessible option, considering many enemies need way more darts to kill than they used to in single player. At most, a stack of electric darts can do 3000 damage with a normal character. A dark sword does 6800 damage for the space of 1 inventory. You would need a little bit more than 3 slots and favorable conditions to have darts do the same amount of damage as a dark sword. The darts provide a better burst damage though than the dart sword, so it can be useful for that. I'm just not exactly sure how to use them. But with that is all for now. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, this has been Terra. Take care.